Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is going to be Hairy Muppet casting another Masters level game here. Down the bottom right side we do have our Zerg player, Leslie. Did I say bottom left? I meant bottom right. And on the top left we have our blue Protoss player, Elfi. And it sounds like these guys may know each other, so we'll see what sort of banter goes on between these two as they're duking it out to the death in the Starcraft game. So let's have a quick look around the map. We have seen this map quite a few times already. It's got this nice balcony going on here over here, and then another balcony up the top side. So if you're willing to risk being a bit out further to this this big killing area out here, then you can sort of overhang on the cliff. It's very good with siege tanks, very good with Colossus. If you're being pushed back, you put the Colossus up here and the enemy doesn't have air support, then yeah, you're going to do very well against those guys. But we'll see exactly what happens in this game. Now I have been doing up my YouTube account a little bit, make it a little bit nicer, put this cool panel up the top with a whole crapload of Torask Ultralisks in there. That was from the Epic game I cast about a week ago. It's actually titled Epic, so you can look for it in my YouTube list. And yeah, and I've also created a Twitter account and a Facebook account, and sorry, not a Facebook page sort of. So all my YouTube videos will go there automatically, and also my Twitter feed will be posting automatically when a video gets uploaded, and I will post a link for the Facebook page and the Twitter account at the bottom of each video from now on in the description. So if you like those and you get you listen to them a bit more than you do your subscriber thing on YouTube, then feel free to join those. But of course I very much encourage you guys to subscribe to this channel, because that is going to be your best chance of getting information about these videos coming out. And also you'll make me quite happy, and if I'm happier then I'll produce more videos. Not that I'm not producing a lot at the moment, because I think I am, but yeah, we'll see how far we can keep this going. And of course your guys' support will always help me out a lot. So yeah, let's see what's going on. We've got a couple of lings over here, we've got an overlord over there, and we've got the duct tape holding my headset together. It's crackling a little bit. I hope that's not being picked up by the microphone, but should be fine. Looks like that Zealot got a nice hit off on those lings. That looks like just one hit will do that much damage to a ling based on these guys. So that's 16, or maybe it's 2 hits to do that, but he is, yeah, it's definitely 2 hits would have done that. But this sentry is going to take these guys out, but that's fine. He's spent 50 minerals and he got a full scout off on the Protoss base, so that's definitely those lings paid for themselves. And now they're just going to be annoying the Zealot and trying to get a bit of a long-term scout going on, see if they can pick up any tech structures going down. But the fact is the Protoss is going for a fairly early expansion here with a forge out the front, so we can expect to see some cannons perhaps, and then we can expect to see the Protoss going for quite a lot of workers in quite a short amount of time. Meanwhile the Zerg player has already got his expansion out. He's droning up quite nicely. He's getting Zerg speed, he's getting a couple more gas, or just one more gas at the moment. So I would not be surprised to see him try and push a bit of a harass in here with lings fairly soon. But then again, he might be getting these lings out for late game ling baneling sort of harassment, which is a good option too. You can see the double Evo chambers coming out, so he is going to be going for a fairly large amount of upgrades. We'll see if he's going to go for the Roach Hydra or whether he's going for the Ling Ultralisk when we see what upgrades he starts building. But if we have a look at the income tab, he's really starting to push ahead here on the harvest account. Of course the Protoss does have his second up, so he can quite easily start working up at not as big a rate as the Zerg player, but a more consistent rate. And we can see the wall in here with that single zealot, so that's going to cut off any sort of Ling entry into there. But he is going to sacrifice map control, and I mean, when you're a Protoss player and you're against a Zerg player, you lose map control initially anyway. You sacrifice map control to the Zerg by default, and you have to fight and really push out there to try and get it back, and it's very tough because the Zerg are so fast and they've got so many units they can just fly around and see everything. So the problem, of course, is that the Protoss can build up a much scarier ball with less units, and it's a bit harder for the Zerg to take out. So they need the map control to be able to pull off flanks and other sort of maneuvers to get that advantage. They need the map control advantage to actually win battles. But this amount of Zerglings, they are going to not see the third, so that's good. They're going to try and run in here. I don't think they'll get anywhere, but they may be able to destroy a building. However, this many sentries is going to be devastating against this many Lings. So not much going to happen here, I don't think. I think this wall is going to hold fairly well. He might be able to get some Banelings. If he got some Banelings, take out this pylon, run through here, kill a lot of probes. That would be a very good plan, but I don't think he's going to go for it. If we have a look at the structures, he does not have a Baneling nest at the moment, so there's not much he can do. But I guess he's just trying to maintain his map control, trying to make sure that there's not a nice early third coming down for the Protoss base. So he's happy to let the Protoss stay at his second for the moment, because he is getting his own third, and as long as he stays one up on the Protoss player, then he is in a very, very good position for this game. We can see a Spire coming up. We see level 2 melee and armor attacks. So he's looking like he's going heavily Ling and perhaps Ultralisk after a while. You can see he's going for the Hive. He's already got the Infested Den, or the Infestor whatchamacallit, going down. So yeah, going for the Hive. I would not be surprised at all to see Ultralisk coming down. Meanwhile, the Protoss is starting to work on Corruptors, and the Corruptors are going to be very good against this Ling force. Look at this beautiful force fields here. The Protoss doesn't have that much to actually kill the Lings, but he basically didn't take any actual damage there, just shield damage, because of those wonderful force fields. Unfortunately for the Protoss player, they're really going to force him back into his base. He's going to find it very hard to push out with that many Lings. And there we go, the Zerg just pooping all over the Protoss's new expansion point, if he was to expand. Now this is horrible, because as soon as the Overlord dies, you still have to wait for the creep to clear out, and that can take, I don't know, maybe a minute or so for that much creep to clear out, which is just very, very painful. So there we go, a little scouting Ling going in there, and you can see that Mothership Core just does an abysmal amount of damage. That was just one Ling, it took 6 hits, so these guys are not going to be a damaging force in any game, but they do have very good utility, so that is why you get them. Got a fair amount of Corruptors coming down, so that is extremely good by the Zerg player, knowing his counters. He had a ton of Lings out, he knew that the Protoss was probably going to go Colossus, and he was already getting a Spire down to go Corruptors, so I think the Zerg is in a very good position at the moment. Now we're also going Ultras. We'll see if the Protoss get the counter to Ultras. Now the counter to Ultras is, it can be a few different things. Void Rays may be good, but I don't think they're as fast as the Ultras. Maybe they are, I'm not sure. But they're a very expensive counter, the Ultras. By far the easiest counter to the Ultras are the Immortals, but they're not quite as good at hitting everything else. Stalkers, also not bad versus Ultras if you get them in large numbers, and they're quite good against a lot of other stuff. If you got Zealots and Stalkers, the Stalkers I believe do bonus damage to the to armoured units, so yeah, they would be quite good against the Ultras. We can see here the Protoss is not worrying about attacking at all. He's getting a bit of scouting going. He's going to snipe a couple of Queens. I don't know if he can actually snipe this Queen. It depends how long the ability lasts on the Phoenix. There we go, it's back up again. So he'll finish it off now. That poor Queen just It's not a good way for a queen to die. It's like the absolute worst way to die. It's like if you're a soldier just going out into war, doing your stuff, getting trained for a few years, and then somebody misfires and blows your head off. It's just not the way you want to go. But these corruptors, well, this corruptor anyway, is going to come out and he is going to do a fair amount of damage. These corruptors do have a longer range than the Phoenix, but the Phoenix are so much faster. So yeah, they're going to be enough to scare them off, but not do much else. He's getting an infestor now, a couple of infestors. He got a crap load of lings out, and he is really pushing the upgrades for the Zerglings and for the Ultralisk. He's even started the upgrades for the air attack as well. He definitely thinks he's going to need those, and he is definitely correct. Meanwhile, we've got Void Rays coming out. We've got some ground attack level 2, I believe that is. Yes, level 2, and level 1 air for the Protoss player. Now he's not pushing as many Colossus as I thought he would. He's getting into Void Rays, and so he's probably planning to use those as a counter against the Ultralisks. And we'll see how they do. Personally, I think the Void Rays are going to do the damage. They do have the ability which temporarily increases the damage they do to armored, and that is a very, very good ability. So I take back what I said before. Void Rays are definitely a very good counter to Ultralisk, but I'm not sure if they are going to be able to take out the Ultralisk before the Ultralisk wipe out most of this Grand Army. I mean, if the Ultras get in there first and the Lings come in after, the Zealots will get wiped apart by the Ultralisk, and then it's just a case of, can the Void Rays take down the Ultras fast enough, or will the Ultras wipe out the ground force and just leave the Void Rays shooting at stuff? And of course, he's got a very, very decent Corruptor army at the moment to take out the Colossus, and the Corruptors are going to be working very well against the Void Rays. And I'm not 100% sure, but I think he's going to have some trouble forcing the Void Rays to attack the Ultralisk, because they're going to prefer to attack the Corruptors instead. So I reckon that these Ultralisks are going to do extremely good job here, and he's maybe starting to figure that out, because he is taking over to Immortals. This is level 2 air shield as well, so all of these guys are just going nuts on the upgrades. And the Zerg player nearly maxed out, the Protoss player nearly maxed out, so we're going to be seeing exactly how this next engagement comes out. We got a 5th base coming up for the Protoss, so the Zerg, sorry. Protoss is trying to make a 4th base, but they're getting stopped by this fairly massive army right outside his gate. So he's going to have to come out and do something about it. He's getting some Immortals now. Those are going to help quite a lot against the Lings, and they're a bit beefier, so they can withstand the Ultralisk attack. Whereas the Colossus and the Zealots, not so beefy, probably go down a bit faster the Ultralisk attack. But he moves out, he sees them right there. He's going to pull back. He wants to fight on this ramp. He does not want to get concaved by the Zerg army. He's going to send the Void Rays out to do a little bit of hit. The Corruptors are going to hit. The Ultras go in. So that's just really, really beautiful there. He does not have the Corruptor support to attack the Colossus, because the Void Rays are keeping them supplied, so keeping them distracted. So that was an excellent time to attack from the Protoss base. However, these Ultralisks are just so beefy, they just go in there and they just wiped out all the Zealots. The Colossus are not that good against Ultralisks. And he's going to take, I think, a couple of Colossus lost here, but the problem is that this defense here, this little gap, is so hard for the Ultralisk to get through there. They were trying to get through, it just wasn't happening. Meanwhile, the Void Rays managed to defeat the Colossus in a one-on-one battle. I think not the Colossus, the Corruptors. I think the Corruptors are armored as well, which means that the Void Rays would have done all their damage to the Corruptor army, and that was good stuff. I think the Protoss came out ahead in that battle, but the Zerg just gets their army back up so quickly, it's not even funny. And he really needs to get the Corruptors working on these Colossus. I'm not sure what else he can get to target the Void Rays, but he really needs to work on these Colossus. He didn't do too badly last time, but Here we go. This is the good trick. This is what he needs to do. There will be some zealots coming down now, which will ward these guys off. And recall there. It's a fantastic job to recall this army back. But of course, you've left other parts of your base open. And he's actually long distance mining. I'm not sure if he really needs to do this, but he does have a massive amount of harvesters. Well, he used to have a massive amount of harvesters. He just lost about 5 or 6 there. But he clearly is... he should move them over here, but I guess maybe he doesn't want to. He thinks that someone's a little bit over there, but these guys are even more worried about. But the Zerg player has definitely got the corruptors he needs to right now, and he just obliterated that Void Ray force. He needs to move these guys out of there though. He's hitting the Colossus, but he's taking a lot of damage from the Archons and the Stalkers, and he needs to be careful because I don't think it's worth losing all those corruptors just to take out that Colossus. He does get it though, and he is going to run away, and I think 3 of these guys are going to survive, so that's good. Meanwhile, the Protoss player sending in a bunch of zealots here. He did a bit of damage, but I don't think he did a lot of damage. He's got some Ultralists to back him off, but this Immortal is coming in, and the full army is going to back him up, and I think the Protoss might have this battle there. Now as the Lings come in, but the Archons are so good against the Lings, and it's just, well, I guess he just wasn't happy about that battle, the Protoss player. And I guess it comes down to the Zerg was very good at stopping this expansion. Meanwhile, the Protoss was unsuccessful. He had, I think, a little bit of a better army, but the Zerg was reinforcing closer to the Zerg bases, so the Zerg would eventually won this. I think these 4 Ultras coming in probably could have done it by themselves. And the fact is the Zerg stopped this base from coming up, and the Protoss could not stop this base from coming up. So at that stage, it was 5 Zerg bases versus 3 Protoss bases. He no longer had the army to go out and push these guys out and protect the Protoss' own base, and he didn't have the army to match the Zerg macro at this stage. He wasn't that far behind on resources, but I think just overall the income that he had was just too far behind, and he wasn't able to produce as fast as the Zerg player. So he was falling behind. It was largely a matter of resources. It was also largely a matter of the fact that the Zerg just produced so much so quickly, and the Protoss couldn't keep up with him. So congratulations to our Zerg player for that very, very awesome victory. He had very good creep spread as well, so he could defend everything really fast, and kudos to him for getting all that. But the Protoss player did very well. He didn't actually have too many upgrades on the ground forces. I would have expected a bit more armor at this point, but I guess he was working off 1 forge. He's actually researching shield. Has he got another forge here somewhere? No, he does not. So I would say that that let him down a bit as well, because I think those forces would have lasted quite a bit longer against the Ultralisks if they'd had 2 armor as compared to the 0 armor they do now. So I think that was a mistake on the Protoss player's part. But regardless, this is a victory for our Zerg player. Congratulations, Leslie. Thank you very much for watching this game. This has been Hairy Muppet, and I hope you enjoyed it.